Happy Friday, guys. Here's your surprise. It is field trip day. This is the Great Lakes Science Center. Just because we can't go on a school bus together to the Great Lakes Science Center doesn't mean we can't still take our field trip. We can go on a virtual field trip. I can't take you on a school bus, but we could go on the Magic School Bus. I have my best Miss Frizzle look going for you here this morning.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip with a friend? No way!
Cruising on down Main Street, you're relaxing, feeling good. Next thing that you know, you see it. What's in the neighborhood? Surfing on the sine wave, swinging through the stars. Take a left and do me testing. Take your second right past Mars on the Magic School Bus. Alligator nostril, I'm on the Magic School Bus.
Okay, boys and girls, here we go. We are ready to go to the first exhibit. And the first exhibit is the Body Works exhibit. We're going to take a look at the inside of your body and how things work. Did you know you have more than 600 muscles in your body? They do everything from pumping blood throughout your body to helping you lift your heavy backpack. You control some of your muscles while others, like your heart, do their job without you thinking about them at all. This shows your muscles inside your body. Interesting exhibit. Muscles are all made of the same material, a type of elastic tissue, sort of like the material in a rubber band. Thousands of even 10,000s of small fibers make up each muscle. You have 3 different types of muscles in your body: smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, and skeletal muscle. Every single person has a skeleton made up of many bones. This next spot in the Body Works exhibit are skeletons. These bones give our body structure. They let you move in many ways. They protect your internal organs and more. The adult human body has 206 bones. Here is a diagram. We talked about a lot of nonfiction texts having diagrams. This is a diagram of all the bones in your body. Do you remember what bone we said protects your brain? You're right, your skull protects your brain. How about the bones that protect your lungs and your heart? Yep, your ribs, your rib cage. The next exhibit, the next area we're going to go to is the NASA John Glenn Space Exhibit. In here, you see how they live in space, the astronauts. We're going to see the Apollo Command Module, which is what John Glenn's mission was. And we're also going to see some different spacesuits. After astronauts get into space, how do they eat? How do they sleep? How do they go to the bathroom? Learn about the day-to-day living here in this area in the International Space Station and find out how they are preparing for longer space journeys to Mars and beyond. See how astronauts live and work in the International Space Station, examine the giant Mars airbag landing system, tested by the NASA John Glenn Research, and more. Here is the Apollo Command Module, which traveled 26.5 million miles in space. Now it resides in this NASA gallery here at the Great Lakes Science Center. The capsule was used in the Skylab 3 space mission. On February 20th, 1962, John Glenn rode the Friendship 7 capsule into space, the first time an American orbited the Earth. In this image, Glenn enters the capsule with assistance from technicians. Here is a diagram of some of the things that the astronauts use. It shows their helmet, shows the upper heart and torso of their suit, shows a harness for their suit, different things that they need and use. Next, this diagram shows the backpack, which holds air for the astronaut to breathe, the helmet shield, which protects astronauts' eyes from the sun's rays. It has a radio attached to the helmet that they use to talk to each other. Gloves shows their spacesuit, and it says it keeps them, it's just right for the temperatures that they're at. And I think I said their boots. Okay, in this section right here, it's going to talk to us a little bit about how they eat in space, how they brush their teeth in space, and how they sleep in space.
Hello everyone, I'm going to show you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich from the International Space Station. Every time we eat, it's kind of fun. Everything will float around if you don't manage it. So we have some tape to stick things on our table here, as well as a bunch of Velcro. All right, so the first thing we need for our sandwich is a piece of bread. Well, up here we don't have bread like you do on Earth, but we have tortillas. So we use tortillas a lot for sandwiches. So that's what I'm going to use for my peanut butter and jelly. I'm going to stick that down in some tape here so it doesn't go floating away while I'm getting everything else ready. So I'll get my peanut butter out, and even the lids on the peanut butter have a piece of Velcro on it so they don't go floating away. If I let it go, it'll kind of just float there for a little while, and then eventually the air conditioning system in here will take it away somewhere else. So I don't want to lose it, so I'm going to stick it on the table. I'll scoop out some peanut butter for my sandwich. I got to stick this somewhere, otherwise it just goes floating away too. But just for now, if it's just a few seconds like this, I can just leave it, let it float. I'll spread the peanut butter on my sandwich, the tortilla, and then I get my jelly ready. See, a lot of things you got to think about and manage while you're eating up here. And you just spread the jelly on the sandwich. That as well needs to get attached to the table. So there's my peanut butter and jelly tortilla or sandwich. Up here, I'll just kind of close it up and enjoy. See if you guys can enjoy it as it's coming to you.
Subscribe for more space.
Next, teeth brushing. And it works very much the same way as does that on Earth. The end is a little bit different though. As you can tell, any liquid, whoa, if it's floating free, it turns into a sphere due to the surface tension. So it's just a ball. And it's kind of fun to play around with. Yes, that's right. Just swallow the toothpaste. You could spit it into a napkin, but then you got a bunch of napkins around with toothpaste in it. It's kind of messy and it's inconvenient. Rather to just enjoy what Clay Anderson used to call the after-dinner mint. Just because unfortunately there's no sink around here that you can just spit the toothpaste out into. So that's how it's done.
Okay, so now we saw how astronauts eat in space, brush their teeth in space, sleep in space. Our first video was from NASA. Our other two videos were just of astronauts in general. Now it is time for us to try on the spacesuits. Are you ready? Be very careful. We don't want to do any damage to the astronauts' spacesuits. How do they fit, Cameron? How do they fit, Chase? Doing good? Evelyn and Ava, are they snug? Vinny and Emma, do those feel comfortable? Nora and Adam, what do you think? Do you want to try the helmet on? Savannah and Ryan, are those comfortable? Tyler and Tommy, what do you think? Are they snug? Izzy and Vivian, how do they feel? Nasim and Z, what do you think of those patches? Are those pretty cool? Holly and Isabel, what do you girls think? Do you like them? Are they comfortable? River and Cam, what do you say? Good? All right, I'm going to click on this next link, boys and girls, and we're going to check out the rest of the field trip. And I'm also going to post this link so that you can go back and look at these different things. Okay, next exhibit is the pedal generator exhibit.
Energy can never be created or destroyed. So says the law of conservation of energy. But can be transformed. But we can see this transformation of energy. Can be transformed. But we can see this transformation of energy. Using a bicycle and some light bulbs. Hi, my name is Karen. Welcome to Great Lakes Science Center. Today, we'll be looking at the pedal generator exhibit. We can see how some of the transformations occurred just by looking closely at the bicycle. You will see the pedals are connected to a gear that engages a chain. The chain runs back to another gear attached to the rotating portion of an electric generator. The electric generator is wired to a tower of lights. The chemical energy in our bodies is used to create mechanical force on the pedals. Some of that energy is also transformed into heat. The mechanical energy in the chain is transformed into electrical energy by the generator. Some of that energy is also transformed into heat. At the light bulb, some of the electrical energy is turned into light. And again, some of the energy is transformed into heat. Heat energy dissipates into the surroundings, and it's not very useful. Sometimes we call this waste heat. But the electrical energy is useful. We can use it to power light bulbs, motors, and many other important items we use every day. Where did all of the energy used in the bicycle generator really come from? our food, plants, the sun. Now you are getting the idea of energy transformation. When you visit, see if you can light just one bulb. See if you can light up all the bulbs. See if you can make it light up just halfway. When you visit us, be sure to give this exhibit a spin here at Great Lakes Science Center.
Okay, our next exhibit is the hand battery exhibit.
Have you ever stopped to think about how important batteries are to your day-to-day life? What if I told you that you could become a real battery? Hi, my name is Karen. Welcome to Great Lakes Science Center. Today, we'll be looking at the hand battery.
I'm just going to pause it for a second, boys and girls, so that it can rebuff and get ready for us to check out the rest of it. There's quite a few here, so hopefully we can make this work. If not, I can just post it and you can check out each different stop. There's also some other cool activities posted here.
Exhibit. The hand battery really is a battery that uses your body as one of its parts. All batteries have electrodes separated by some type of electrolyte. An electrolyte is a substance that contains ions or charged particles. Examples of electrolytes include acids and salts that have been dissolved in water. Our bodies are full of electrolytes. All we need are electrodes. Some batteries work with two different kinds of metals as electrodes. This hand battery uses aluminum and copper rods as the electrodes, and our bodies as the electrolyte. By connecting one type of metal on one side of the battery to the other kind of metal on the other side of the battery with our hands, our body becomes an electrolyte bride that completes the battery. At the same time, we close the circuit that includes a meter that measures electric current. This meter is called an ohm meter. In the hand battery, electrons flow from the copper towards the aluminum, which causes the needle on the meter to move. By switching both hands to the other metal, we create a battery that causes electricity to flow in the opposite direction. As long as there is good contact, the electrolyte bridge can include more than one person. Although this battery is not very powerful, batteries can be designed with enough power to power flashlights, toys, and even start car and truck engines. Batteries create direct current electricity. As we can see, the electricity only flows in one direction. But generators create electricity that rapidly flow back and forth. We have many types of generators for you to experiment here at Great Lakes Science Center, including our pedal generator and our breadboard circuits. I hope you enjoyed learning about our hand battery. Come and visit us and see this and many of our other powerful exhibits here at Great Lakes Science Center.
Okay, next up is the breadboard circuit exhibit.
In order to be useful, the parts of any electric device must be properly connected. We call this connection a circuit. If you haven't ever done so before, connecting an electric circuit to make something work the way you want to is very fun and rewarding. Hi, my name is Karen. Welcome to Great Lakes Science Center. Today, we will be looking at the breadboard circuit exhibit. With breadboard circuits, you can create hundreds of different combinations of functional electric circuits. Each breadboard features a power supply, electrical components like motors and lights, wire for making connections, and springs that hold the wire connections tightly. By starting out with a very simple circuit, we can understand the basic functions of the components. In this simple circuit, a light will turn on when the wires are properly connected from the power source to the light and then back to the power source. Note that electricity must flow through all of the components, the power source, the wires, and the light bulb. For an added challenge, try to include a button or a switch in your design. Why might a button or a switch make the circuit more useful? Try using a hand crank generator as your power source. You might notice that the amount of electricity varies according to how fast you crank. Try to create a circuit using light switches just like we have in our homes. Generators create electricity that rapidly flows back and forth. The pedal generator is connected to a circuit that will light up with more bulbs the harder you pedal, like a giant hand crank generator. I hope you enjoyed learning about breadboard circuits. Come and visit us. Enjoy this and many other electrifying experiences at Great Lakes Science Center.
Okay, next exhibit is the Strange Attractions exhibit. Strange Attractors exhibit.
Hi, I'm Dante Santori. Welcome to Great Lakes Science Center, and right now we're going to take a look at our Strange Attractors exhibit. Yes, Strange Attractors. One thing you might find out is that even if you do this a number of times, it's really hard to sometimes get the exact same result, even if you release the pendulum from almost the exact same position, because it gets really complicated when you add more and more of these forces. But you could do something like release the pendulum from the same point multiple times, see how many times it enters each quadrant. A different student could be in charge of each color, and they record how many times they see the pendulum enter their quadrant. Now you could just see just now, after several times of going back and forth, something happened on one of those passes. It got just close enough to one of the magnets to nudge it, and then that magnetic force sent the pendulum on a completely different track, and now it's going almost at a completely right angle from what I started with. And this kind of unpredictable nature of this is why it's called the strange attractors, because mathematicians and physicists like to study something called chaos theory. It's kind of like how the weather works, because you really can't predict it. And sometimes small little changes in your starting points can have huge differences in the end. And that's not all you can do with the Strange Attractors exhibit. The great thing about stuff like this is that it's really up to your imagination. You can put different positions in the magnets. You can see what happens, see how close you can get a magnet to get the pendulum to stand still, or maybe get captured by one of the attractive magnets. Just leave it up to your imagination and just have fun fooling around with this and studying movement and magnetism. That's our Strange Attractors exhibit. Have fun with it here at the Science Center, and look for other exhibits that tie into it. We have different pendulum exhibits. We have the chaotic pendulum. You can see the chaotic motion, but this time it's not being driven by magnetism. And if you want to follow the magnetism angle, we have different exhibits like our magnetic train that shows how maglev trains work. So there's a lot of connections, a lot of fun with that here at Great Lakes Science Center.
Okay, next up, boys and girls, is the harmonograph exhibit.
Hi, I'm Susan. We're here at the Great Lakes Science Center standing in front of our harmonograph. This is an example of a compound pendulum. It consists of a table with a pad of paper on it that's suspended with cables on a frame. That allows the table to swing in many different directions. All of you know what a pendulum is. Anybody who's ever seen a grandfather clock has seen a pendulum going back and forth. This table can move in other directions. Besides back and forth, it can move up and down, and it can move in a twisting motion. If I move the table in a straight line back and forth, and on the paper, we'll trace a line back and forth, but as the table slows down, it makes a continually smaller design. Now, if I come over here in front of the table, and now pull the table back and forth, we've got an almost vertical line. It's twisting a little, so we've got a bit of an oval. And the other form of motion that this table can do, because it's suspended, is twisting or torsional. And that will make an oval shape, which is will become increasingly smaller as the table slows down. The main force that's working on this at the moment is friction. There's friction between the pen and the paper, and there's friction between the platform itself and the air around it. So it won't move like this forever. It'll slow down. A third kind of movement happens if we just twist the table. You might also notice that the movement is faster. That's because a twisting motion has a different rate to it.
Okay, next up is the Cloud Rings exhibit.
Hello and welcome to the Great Lakes Science Center. My name is Mariah and today we are going to be exploring our Cloud Rings exhibit. So this exhibit features a fog generator, a diaphragm or membrane, and a hole connecting the underside of the diaphragm to the air in the room. Notice that when I press on the diaphragm, air is moved quickly from underneath the diaphragm and up into the room. But that's not all. Notice that as the fog rises, it forms a very special shape, a ring or toroid. What does a toroid remind you of? It reminds me of a donut. Notice that this donut of fog is spinning. The spinning motion is called a vortex. A vortex is like a tornado. A tornado forms when a vortex of air is moved quickly by a windy storm. Our Cloud Rings exhibit is like a tornado that has been flipped on its side and connected from top to bottom. How does a vortex form, you ask? The diaphragm allows the air to move, but the hole in the center allows for some air to move a little bit quicker than the other air. When one layer of air is moving at a faster speed than the nearby layer, they slide across one another in a process known as shear. Watch the spinning fog in a slow-moving ring. Notice the motion of the ring. You might also see it grabbing or treading upward through the air. Let's try this. Pushing on the diaphragm in different ways can change the size and or speed of the vortex. Try pushing softly. Now, try pushing rapidly. This exhibit is especially fun to do with friends. If you visit us at the Great Lakes Science Center, be sure to check out our Cloud Rings exhibit. You might also enjoy comparing it to our very own fog tornado. Thanks, and see you soon.
Okay, next up is the Bridge of Fire exhibit.
Hi, I'm Susan Burke. I'm a volunteer at the Great Lakes Science Center, and we're here on our Bridge of Fire, which is a Van de Graaff generator, and what it will do is generate a field of static electricity, and it has some very interesting effects on people's hair and on the pom-poms that we will give them. What's going to happen is an electrical field is going to be generated between the belt and this silver cylinder here, and it will create the field of static electricity. Okay, come on up here, please. Now that we're up here on the Bridge of Fire, take a pom-pom, put one hand on the gray cylinder, and hold the pom-pom up with your other hand. Okay? Are you positioned so you can see yourselves in the mirror? Okay. Now keep your hands on the cylinder. Here we go. Okay, Melanie's hair is starting to go up in the back quite a bit, and so is Mom's. Now make sure you don't touch each other while you're on the bridge, because if you do, you'll give each other a shock. Okay. Good job. Come on down. Don't touch each other now. That's an example of what happens when you have a Van de Graaff generator and you're generating an electrical field through you and out into the air. We also have other examples of electrical power around here with our plasma ball, which is right next to the Van de Graaff, and also On the other side of the zone 2 up here, we have our lightning tube, which when you touch arches will be attracted to your hand. Come on down to the Science Center and try our bridge of fire. Your hair might stand on end.
Bernoulli blower exhibit is next.
Hi, I'm Dante, and welcome to Great Lakes Science Center. One of the many exhibits here at Great Lakes Science Center is kind of hard to miss. It's called the Bernoulli blower, but you might just know it as the thing with the beach ball floating up and down. It has to do with air, how air moves, the force air has. The main thing really is about forces. If I just take this beach ball and hold it up in the air, and if I let go, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to drop. The force of gravity pulls the beach ball down. It's not dropping right now, not because the force of gravity went away, but because my hand is giving another force to balance the force of gravity, and that's what keeps the beach ball up in the air. Same thing's going on here, only instead of my hand providing the force to balance the beach ball, it's something else, and that something else comes from the air. Right now, when the beach ball's vertical, most of the force that's balancing gravity just comes from that direct pressure of the air blowing out of the blower and the molecules hitting the bottom of the beach ball. That's where most of that balancing force comes from. The beach ball is still being held up in the air. Gravity is still pulling the beach ball straight down, only now somehow that force is coming from some other kind of effect. So with something simple like a piece of paper or a piece of yarn, you could see where the air is flowing around the beach ball. So the air flowing out of this blower changes the air pressure around the ball. It's no longer balanced. The greater force must be on the bottom because that is the force that's keeping it up against gravity. The lesser force is on the top. And you can put those together and see that when you have faster air, you get a lower air pressure. What the Bernoulli effect is that when a fluid like air or water starts flowing, when it starts moving, it exerts a weaker side-to-side pressure than it would if it was staying still. Now, if I slowly bring the beach ball into the airstream, the fast air is over here, your lower pressure is here, your weaker force, the greater force is on the outside. Now watch carefully when I bring it to the airstream. It just gets pushed into the airstream, and then it kind of stabilizes, and that side-to-side moving air pressure difference is what keeps it in the airstream, but that initial push is what pushes it in the airstream. That's a couple of the things you could do with this. Whenever you got moving air, you could do some interesting physics and some fun stuff.
All right, and I believe this is our last one, the Apollo Command Module.
Hey folks, Jean Dar again here at the Great Lakes Science Center. We're here inside the NASA Explorer Gallery, just part of the extraordinary exhibit that makes up the NASA Glenn Visitor Center right here in downtown Cleveland. I'm standing in front of an actual Apollo Command Module, a vehicle that was designed to carry astronauts all the way to the moon and back. To me, it's absolutely amazing that the people who designed this, the men and women who did that, they did it with pencil and paper. This was before people were using computers every day. Now, this spacecraft was designed to carry 3 astronauts all the way to the moon, a journey that would have taken them anywhere from 8 to 12 days and to bring them back. But this spacecraft set a record at the time. It didn't go to the moon. It went to low Earth orbit, but it stayed in space for 2 months. I'm talking 59 and a half days. Now, if you want to see this exhibit, actual space hardware, and more like it, make sure that you come and visit us here at the Great Lakes Science Center.
Oh, one more. My bad.
All right, woohoo!
Moon rock is our last one.
Hey
Hey team, it's Jean Dar from the Great Lakes Science Center, and I'm here inside the NASA Explorer Gallery inside the official NASA Glenn Visitor Center at the Great Lakes Science Center. It's an amazing place filled with incredible exhibits and historic artifacts like this moon rock fragment that was collected by astronaut David Scott during the Apollo 15 mission. The rock was actually formed by an impact with a meteorite that crashed on the surface of the moon, throwing out a lot of ejecta, including this rock. Now, the actual rock itself was about the size of a football, and we cut off a small fragment so we can see what the rock looks like on the inside. The rock is fused with glass, that glass from the sand that melted from the extreme heat of that impact. It's incredible. And if you want to see this and more exhibits like this, come and visit us this weekend as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the very first moon landing. We hope that you'll come and join us at the Great Lakes Science Center.
Okay, boys and girls, if you notice over on the side over here of the website, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger here. Over on the side of this site, it has a list of all the different things that you're going to be able to find here on the website. And I'm going to mark this and give it to you in Google Classroom. So if you want to come into here, there's puzzles, there's games, there's all of these different videos that go along with the virtual field trip. So I hope you enjoyed our virtual field trip. I hope you had a good time. And there's going to be a very, very simple thing for you to do in Google Classroom. And like I said, I'll leave you the links and you can go back in. I also posted another website as well that's going to be a really cool game spot where there's a lot of different things that you can do from NASA. So hope you had fun. I did.